Okay, quick Tuesday morning radar update. So, risk on mid caps, small caps, FTSE 100 a little bit weak there. DAX taking the lows out. So let's just jump onto the DAX. DAX, I'm taking the liberty of drawing a baseline in here. A little bit of back and fill. Easy for me to say. Would be very normal on this one. Then we usually jump to the transports. We see if they're both agreeing in what the DAX is doing, and the transports clearly isn't. So with the transports, we just drag out the trend line and just say it is what it is. It's just traded a new high of the move on volume. Not agreeing with the DAX at the moment. And then we can just go through the others. The Dow traded a high yesterday. Moving on, S&P's just back and fill. Nasdaq a little bit weaker, but come on. And the Russell still in its channel, but a little bit weaker as well. So we're seeing stronger action in the UK than in America. We've talked about the uncoupling for some time. It's been a little bit of a theme for me, and we've seen it. A little bit of rotation in the US and small caps in the UK remain fantastic. So, I'm not going to look too far into these things. Let's just move on into oil. Top end of that area there. Just going to gold. Now, I did see a lot of gold stocks in the US screens. Well, not a lot, but a few gold stocks starting to show up in the US screens. There's a chance, we've talked about the voodoo average coming into play. It's coming into play on a lot of stocks. Moving on, currencies. Bitcoin had this thing moves on a tweet, doesn't it? Yeah, traded a new high in the morning, closed mid-range. Closed in the upper end of this bar here. News days, or basically tweet affected days, noise days. Moving on. In fact, before I move on, I'll just jump on my soapbox again and just say, look, this was a bubble here and a bubble here and a bubble here and a bubble here, and it's still a bubble here. And for anyone who sort of buys reward to risk scenarios, this is where we posted it, and it gave really good reward to risk. And the trend is up. For those of us who go the trend following route, I would say go and have a listen to Jerry Parker on, I'm just going to get the name right, Top Traders Unplugged, and listen to some of the nuggets Jerry Parker drops, because, this game's about fat tails. If you snip your winners, and this is this is an example of a huge winner, obviously, but in stocks in general, it's about fat tails. So if you prune all your best stocks, vol target, prune your best stocks, it puts pressure on being right. Then you have to be right, and then you start doing. There's a danger of starting to do things to. When you're clearly wrong, you might start averaging down stocks because you want to be right, because you need to be right. This game's not about being right. This game's about fat tails, small losers. And when you do get that big winner, a very important point from my trading is, I've got huge profits running at the moment. I'm still trading on the risk levels I took when I took those trades. So I do not compound at a higher level on I'm not counting my chickens before they've hatched. So that would mean, because the account's up huge over the last 12 months, I'm not trading on a higher risk level. I'm still trading on that original there's some trades been obviously compounded, but I'm trading on a higher risk level, but I'm not trading on an open portfolio balance level. I do not risk 1% of all open profits included. No, it's on a closing basis. That's a very important point, and Jerry Parker actually touches upon that in the in the last Top Traders Unplugged. Give it a listen. I know it's a very different style to what a lot of people do. You know, they're not trading stocks. Jerry Parker does trade some stocks, but the principles are, you know, golden nuggets of, you know, methodology. Moving on. There you go. Back on piste. Treasuries. So, you know, there will be talk of the Fed stepping in if interest rates start to get out of hand. I'm pretty sure the market will sort of sort that out itself. Moving on. And the trend remains up in pound US dollar. So let's go and have a look in the stocks. I'll jump in the large caps first. As always, it's 10:13. We should have traded 25% to be on average volume, just over 25%. There's quite a lot of large caps running today. I'm going to jump straight into the small caps and see how they are running. I'll just double check that. Yeah, 25%, 26%, let's say, to be on average volume. Yeah, it's still a good day. It's a good day. My portfolio has not traded highs yet today. I'm quite disappointed with that. All-time highs yesterday again, but we will see. The day is young. PMPL trying to tick up, work on a swing point. I see a little bit of news there. Moving on. Solid state. Moving on. It's real. I know we traded it last year or the year before. I can't remember. Year before into last year. This is just steady kind of growth at the moment. It's not the big tick up we traded towards last time. Doesn't mean it won't go off trending. I'm looking for as much gas in the tank as I can find at the moment, and I can hardly see the screen because the sun has amazingly come out and the storm clouds have just cleared. FIF trading towards some pretty good numbers. I'm just going to punch this one in and bring it over. So, you know, debt multiples a little bit higher than I like, but not too bad. Is it the mother of all ideas? Well, no, clearly not. But it's what it's trading towards what counts. It's happily in that sort of area as well. Do your own research and all that. Return to growth on SCS as well. Sail on. Every time. No, it never gets old. SPR. Yeah, pretty good tick back up in this. It's a lower high in the profit. You know, it ticked down and it's ticking back up. So it's not exactly getting me excited. Doesn't mean it can't trend. You know, it went from 16 down to 9.7, back up to 50. If you look at the turnover, that did the same. So moving on. Character group continues. S32, kind of lower beta, bumbling along, but you know, working, I suppose, against the general trend. So you know, a lot of these miners are doing well, aren't they? I thought it was gold for some reason then, but I don't know if it is. Answers on a postcard. I'm not going to look. There's a few oilers in there. Pharmaceuticals. REIT. BKS. So, you know, talking my own book here, I will just say that because I have a position in BKS. So I'll just bring this over. We've got the low float small cap. This thing can move. I know we moved it a bit yesterday. I plan to add to it. I'll just say anywhere in this right hand side is a very normal area for this thing to do business. You know, there's a level here. I hope it just breaks out and then just bases out again and lets me add in the future. But, you know, after the first pullback, I will look for a breakout level where I will add, not before. Moving on. IGP. This one, very thin numbers, IGP. Yeah, I'll just move on from that one. The better setups were the rear view ones we talked about, but I didn't take it back then either. Net call continues, so let's just move on to that one as well. Always hunting the most gas in the tank. I was fully invested when this one moved out. Not exactly my favourite sort of area, but it's doing well. You know, we looked at, there was a breakout here, and then we looked at this as kind of a cheat of a bigger base level. But this, you know, being the low, left shoulder, middle of the base, broke out, first retrace, higher high, higher low, higher high again. So there's been a few opportunities in that. I know there's been some trailing ads posted for those who are already in it. You know, it's coming towards results by the looks of it. Good cushion for anyone who took that. What's the worst that could happen? Scratch trade, isn't it? Well, touch wood. So yeah, you know, it's got some pretty good gas in the tank. Let's just see if that one can, when it does go through its report. I don't know if it's, you know, I haven't read any of the recent ones, so see if it can give that reaction we're used to. Ah yes, that's a lose more scenario. IPO breakout on that a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? So that is the large caps. I'll just jump into the, small caps. I'll just jump into the large cap filter. Obviously there's some AIM 100 and things like that in this one. I'll just order it by sector, and I'm just going to fly through this and just get a general theme. We were talking about the theme on the travel and leisure. There's a lot of stocks down in this sort of area where, you know, active low, high, base building, you know. Some of them, large cap stocks, what have done quite a big move to get off the lows and break the trend again. Digestion is the norm, and you will see a lot of it. So let's just go through the flick book and look at all those beat up stocks building back and fill. There's another, you know, there was another there. There's going to be an awful lot of them in that area, and I would say if you're getting involved with some of these, really pick the very best. You know, a little base on that one as well. I'll just put that one in. Cost. Not really what I trade towards. You know, construction sector, a little bit choppy, a little bit boring. You know, my sort of go-to is pick the most exciting areas and try and get the ones what are going to trade a little bit more high beta and have the most growth. If you're interested in how I pick stocks that way, stock selection, share scope, tutorials, it's in there. Try and do a little bit of this every day. Something interesting. Not my way or the highway. gas. Let's just buzz through these. Over and over, you're seeing all that right, you know, where do we find the best trends? I'll show you where we find the best trends. In that box there. If you just draw a trend line from there to there, and then you draw another one here, I'll just get rid of that. That is where you're going to find most of the action. Now, what you're going to find in a lot of these stocks at the moment, what have been beaten up, is basing around over here, and they're going to be in that sort of 6 month high sort of zone. They'll start basing out and they'll start tightening up. That's if they hold. You know, if the market holds and we stay in this nice market, these stocks will all start to emerge from that area. You know, that's just very simple charting trick for you. We're in the dumpster dive area if we're in the bottom right corner. We're dumpster diving. Idea, fantastic. You know, I've got a position in that. Yeah, I know some of these are smaller stocks. It's just the way I filter them. Put the AIM 100 in this list as well. I'll just buzz through these last ones. Hostile World. I had a trade on this. I took it up here and got involved, and I rode it and stopped out as I normally do. And from me getting out of this stock, it lost 90+%. So yes, I can see it's trying again. Active low, higher low. Through here, meaningful level, 52-week high, 6 month high, it's basing under. So, you know, same again. If you see it coil there, it's still a stage 1 base. It's still higher risk. I'd rather take a stage 2 with fantastic growth than a stage 1 any day. But, you know, when it comes to charting, remove all the indicators and just trade the price. Very simple stuff. Okay.